Hey, it's Bookstreamer or Doom Off Land. It's me, Spike1000, coming to video this video. This video is the one video I talked about in my news about this week's video announcement or next week's video announcement video. But anyways, this one is going to be my Rising of Sheild Hero characters if they were in SAO and Underworld, but SAO as in the anime. And without further ado, let's get straight into these drawings and story. So roll intro and let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video. This first story has 6 characters, like I already stated in the last video for this week's videos. And like I already stated, I want to have a few nods to Nafumi and all that. But just as a warning, basically the idea of that Nafumi is still more of an otaku, but he still likes playing games every now and again. And he has a somewhat sort of friendship with the other 3 main guys. And it's more or less a quest to help deal with the 3 other people. I will go into more on that in the actual story. Now, let's get into the actual story. Now, someone else that didn't really believe her, but still didn't fully trust, but also still kind of did believe her, was someone known as Itsuki Kusami. Race, human. Skill, legendary bow, ultimate skill. He was the bow hero. He was, how do you put this, hired on to take on a nation that was full of monsters. But before then, the reason why he was hired to take on this one was because he was known to have liberated, quote unquote, liberated a country or a small town from very powerful and oppressive leaders. But in reality, he just made it a whole lot worse. He left people to starve without knowing it, and not even how to set up their own jobs or how to run a country for that matter. He just helped them stop what was going on and just left. So the Sheild Hero had to come in and fix all of his mess, just like he did with the dragon incident. But that kingdom he was hired from was the kingdom of Falmuth, and the other kingdom he was hired to take on was a city known as Tempest. They were how do you say, known for having a bunch of just a city of monsters. He thought about it and decided against it because he's actually heard some nice things about it from the princess herself, saying, even though we're humans and in this place we don't really like demi-humans, well, beastmen in this matter, we still try to have friendly alliances with that stupid town of Tempest, the Jura Tempest Federation. Ugh. She also went on to say about having a school full of people that would have very powerful skills, and how they could have easily won this war. But she said that was like a few days after the war. The Falmu city has attacked. He was in the attack. He saw that everyone was just innocent and didn't do jack squat. So he said, I'm not doing this, and he left. And after that, he said he was talking to the princess, aka the princess that was later known as. They were either gaming, reading a book, or they died. But they all got reincarnated or summoned into another world. They each gained an ultimate skill when coming into this world. They were summoned by the kingdom, well, by a king that will be later known as Trash, due to his betrayal of the throne. They were all human. First one, ran alchemy, race human, skill legendary sword. He's also known as the Sword Hero. This guy went on to believe a lie that was quite honestly very, very, very full of holes and basically giant caverns. But he blindly and stupidly listened to this girl. But not as much as the Spear Hero. They were hired to take on a few quests and also defeat some creatures and some apocalyptic attacks that would most likely tear apart their countries. The countries that were 4 in one continent. This one they were all summoned into. The queen later revealed to them all that they were all supposed to be summoned by one individual kingdoms, not all at one, because that would bring too much attention to one kingdom. But the king didn't listen. The Sword Hero later went on to slay a dragon, but to leave its corpse behind to rot, not caring in the slightest what would happen. What happened was the thing began to rot and decay, and now the worst of these so-called 3 heroes is the Spear Hero. Name Moriyasu Kitamura. Race human. Skill legendary spear. Ultimate skill. AKA the Spear Hero. This guy in general is a giant dong and dick. Like the skill suggests, he has the ability to summon a spear. But like the other two, it has a wide range of smaller extra skills that are very powerful. He is a giant jerk, especially to this Sheild Hero. This guy has way too much pride in himself. He was actually the one who was the first one and major one to believe mine, the princess. I really hate that girl. She turned out just to be using her because he was her favorite hero. The Shield being the Spear Hero. But she was also just using him in general. He later succumbed to his injuries from an attack that really didn't end well. The attack was from, well, nothing really. It just came from old age and old illness of his that came in. This guy was a jerk in general to pretty much everyone and anything. He also caused a problem that the Sheild Hero had to go in and later fix. This guy now the person who betrayed him. I've already told you what she did, how she did it, but the full story was that she always liked Moriyasu. He was actually a very popular gamer. She wanted to be with him. But she had to go through Nafumi to get him out of the picture because they were pretty close. So she decided to team up with him as a party. And while usually no one plays with a defender, she did just to get rid of him. What she did really tipped off Nafumi. This is the reason why he became cold. Her plan was to find someone else that wasn't really someone she thought could be easily manipulated and gotten rid of. Now, mine managed to get away with the attack because no one else was with her, and Nafumi. Now, a few players were nearby, but they decided to go off somewhere else and start killing some other monsters for leveling up XP. Now, what she did was she constantly pushed Nafumi out of the way and stopped him from getting to her. He had some pretty high level healing skills or healing potions to help her out. Now, this both helped her and nearly brought her back to all the way back to full HP because of how powerful he could make these healing potions. But Nine managed to stop him from doing it. And since Moriyasu still was believed Nafumi most of the time, he was still, like I already stated, an idiot and believed mine. That really hurt Nafumi. He later said that he was going to beat them all and help defeat this game. And in a way, he was right. Now, the player who was playing the role as Mine's mother was actually Mine's mother. She and Mine both had, as well as her father had, skills of that of royalty. Mine's skill was princess. She could make people easily, like NPCs, believe her. And also, she had the ability to call on a few people. While Mine's mother, Elia, had a skill known as Queen. Now, this skill was very powerful. Basically, it could do everything that Princess could do, but amplify it 10 times over. Now, in real life, Mine was a spoiled brat with a sister who's actually next in line to inherit the family company. Her sister was a lot nicer to Nafumi and knew how her sister was. But she didn't know that her sister would actually resort to murdering a player. And, well, with the help of Mine being under a truce potion that some people helped Nafumi helped create, she was convicted and then sent, not really to prison, but was given a new common name, which people still call her. And most people still know her about what she did to hurt Nafumi. Now, Nafumi is still cold to most people, but he's more opened up. Now, the last person that betrayed Nafumi was someone known as King. No, his real name was Alucre, husband of Morella and father of Mine. His skill was King, about half as powerful as Queen. Don't know why that was, but just how it worked, which also made kind of sense. He always believed mine about everything she did, and he also wanted her to inherit the family business because they were always like that. But he didn't get his way, and he was actually shocked when he learned that she did murder a player, but they were gone for so long that the era above her had already turned back to green. She managed to trick her father into believing her. Now he still believes that Nafumi was the one who killed the player, because he believes that Mine was telling the truth about when Mine said, "He most likely made that potion to make me see it," which Nafumi didn't do at all. Now, he did help Kirito in the fight against that skeletal monster by protecting multiple players from its slamming hand-down attack. But he was paralyzed and stuck down, so he couldn't make he could have made an anti-paralyzation potion, but it was so potent and powerful, and since it was coming from the creator of the game himself, he couldn't make it strong enough. Now, he is still a very powerful player. This next part is the secondary part to this story, and this is the Nafumi, Philo, and Raftalia versus Glass story. So, I hope y'all enjoyed. Now, let's get right on into it. The second event that caused him to become more cold was more or less an event showing that you can't trust everyone you meet. This event was known as the Glass Incident. He managed to defeat Glass, but he met two people that he thought were going to become very good friends and allies. Turns out he was wrong. What happened was they went to an island. Well, for the record, he was going in along with Asuna and a few others to help save Kirito. But he got sidetracked because someone on their team was a villain and an enemy he faced while in SAO. They managed to log in and play a custom player and go into as a custom body known as Glass. He immediately realized who they was, and he told Asuna, "I have to fight her. This is the only way I can get her out of here." And he did end up killing her. He still somehow managed to have every single skill he had acquired while in SAO. It was the legendary Sheild. He also managed to get Philo and Raftalia online and able to get onto the game itself. The way he got through to this was by communicating to the outside that, okay, they are planning on having, he overheard that they were planning on having a bunch of players come in from all around the world and actually trying to defeat and fight off the good guys, which actually did happen. But he managed to coordinate with Raftalia and Philo. He managed to get the others to coordinate attack with Philo and Raftalia. The real life to log in and wait, but also run out and team up with the other side, take out a few players, and also run along and meet up with him, which they did do. But Glass, he was caught up fighting Glass during this time. They found an area that was very similar to a event they were going through known as the Waves, which was a entire 2-year-long event they were fighting in. But the two people they met who thought that he met that were going to be helpful came in. One was a scythe guy, and the other was a book wielder. He met them and went onto an island that had a boat nearby, which is where he was planning on facing Glass. But as soon as they learned who he was, they were starting to plot to help Glass take him down. The scythe guy was a very nice and flamboyant person. Same with the girl, but not as, but a little bit more shy. She was still very nice. But as soon as Glass came in, and he used a skill he got from a monster known as a Soul Eater, he managed to conjure up the Soul Eater shield, which was the only thing he knew that could actually injure Glass. And he was right, it severely weakened her. But the Scythe Hero nearly got an attack on Nafumi, but Philo and Raphtalia managed to block the attack and jump down and say, "We overheard them talking about helping Glass take you down and for the others to get away." And they were right. That's exactly what happened. But Philo and Raphtalia soon jumped down to face the other two people, the Scythe and Book people by themselves, while Nafumi faced Glass himself. The potion they gave her was something to restore her health and get her back up to strength, which was an anti-Soul Eater potion, or soul restoration potion. It's a very rare item. Now, his two little friends were his first friend, now wife, fiance, it's been a few years. Name, Raphtalia. Race, beastman / raccoon. Skills, swordsmanship and sword summoning. Sword summoning is actually relatively common. How do you put this? Common skill for people to have. But swordsmanship is also pretty common for a knight. But in reality, she actually worked hard and earned this skill, which is really interesting. Nafumi, how do you put this? He bought her as a slave, but not for any nefarious deeds. He just needed someone to fight for him, because he couldn't fight because the shield wouldn't allow him to. So he had her fight for him. She actually was okay with it. He actually was really nice to her. He treated her well by giving her food, giving her some good equipment, and she repaid this by being there for him, even in his darkest times. But it all changed when the Queen gave him and let him become the Lord of the old place where Raphtalia used to live. That's where they started getting feelings for each other. They soon, from a daughter-father relationship, became closer to a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. And they soon, after all of the fiasco of the waves being dealt with and all of that, they got married. Well, he was ascended to the rank of godhood due to having to fight a goddess. That was an impressive one, an impressive feat. She married the human incarnation of him, which was still the real him, just part of him. He was just like he was. Now, the god Nafumi, every now and again inhabits his body to spend some time with his wife. Because he knows everything that he does, but he just really likes spending some quality time with her. But as a child, she didn't really like killing animals, but she got over it, and she actually got her revenge on an old abuser she had. Now, let's get to the last one. Now, Philo was fighting someone known as, well, she was going to be fighting the book hero. The book hero, which was the female of the two. The reason why she was fighting her was simply because Raftalia managed to get down with her sword and start fighting off the Scythe hero before he could get to Raftalia. Before he could help Glass take out Nafni. He was about to land a strike on him, but she managed to jump down and parry the attack with her sword and take him on herself. But Philo jumped down after seeing that the book hero was going to try to blast Raftalia away with a spell. But she turned into her filial form, which was thanks to a skill she got while in SAO, which allowed her to turn into something like an ostrich-like creature known as a filial, and she got the very rare skill of Filial Queen. Only one in every 10,000 players had this skill. So she was very lucky. She managed to jump in and use her claws and actually fend them off. She managed to summon a few Filial subordinates and help take on in the fight. She managed to summon around 3 to 5. She, due to her size, was actually relatively fast. She used her affinity for wind attacks and wind magic while in the underworld to fight off the book hero, and managed to use and the Filials also protected her from other attacks. But she also got hit by a few lightning attacks from the book hero. She was able to easily defeat the book hero, but she only managed to render her unconscious, managing to somehow get rid of her while in the underworld world, but somehow not killing her in the real world, because killing her would have destroyed her Flucklight, which was her mind and soul. By destroying it, I mean just like flat out kill her. But Raftalia was having a little harder time fighting the Scythe hero because, well, he was a pain to fight in of himself. So, yeah. Now, Nafumi was having a very difficult time fighting Class. The main reason being was because of her skill fans. She the reason why was because her fans were actually dual-wielding weapons, which was very similar to Kito's skill for dual-wielding swords. But the reason why these were so much more, were not as dangerous, but still very dangerous, were because using them, you couldn't really get a decisive attack in, thanks to her being able to project a windshield around her. He managed to call in a few Air Force shields to block off the attacks, and a few chimeric or Cerberus shields and to get a few Bison, but he couldn't use the Soul Eater shield because he had to be very close to her and activate it, and for it to bite her, actually harm her. But she was able to see through most of his attacks due to the fact that she's fought him before in SAO. She learned from the mistake of, because she was nearly knocked down to death. But she managed to escape that with the help of some players. He soon leapt back into the fight after remembering what she said in SAO. Something about, we will meet again. And that was the final time they met in SAO. Not that he didn't think that they would meet again, but here he was. He, after remembering that, and he was still fighting, he came back and realized he was still fighting, managing to conjure up the Soul Eater form, the Soul Eater shield, and left back in because she was actually looking towards her side, and he gazed quickly over to the side, seeing Philo charging at her. So he took this as an opportunity of attack of opportunity, leapt in and hit her upside the head with his shield, and then launched his Soul Eater shield after her and bit her, causing it to drain a lot more attack and energy off of her. She managed to she managed to leap out of the way, but she got hit in the face from attack by Philo, and then got stabbed through the arm by Raftalia. Raftalia then went invisible and managed to sneak in a few other attacks. And due to that, she and Nafumi and everyone else managed to get a few more good attacks in and defeat her. But the only thing that could permanently put her down was the Soul Eater shield, which only Nafumi could use. And, well, they managed to do that by, well, actually getting her very low with Nafumi getting a few more hits in with the Soul Eater shield. But they were only able to deal so much more damage because she managed to slash them off with wind attacks. But after a few more attacks from Philo and Raftalia, she was nearly down. And Philo managed to turn back into her filial queen form. And Nafumi jumped on top of her and managed to ride her into battle. And at the same time, Raftalia managed to stab her one more time, making her go down. And Nafumi jumped off, conjuring up the Soul Eater shield one more time and launching it at her, taking her out. And at the same time, they defeated her. They turned back to go back to an old friend of his named Kito. As soon as they got back, they slew Kito using his Starburst stream attack, which Nafumi only heard stories about in the attack while they were on a quest. He was actually impressed by what he saw, but he realized that this attack was literally life or death for Kito. But Kito managed to defeat him and actually put the guy in a coma because of how much powerful an attack he was putting into it. Now, after that, Kito was still stuck in that world, healing from the Laughing Coffin attack from real life. But about 2 weeks later, okay, 200 years in that world, he was stuck with Austin and his girlfriend slash fiance. In that time, they managed to get married while in the underworld. And, well, Nafumi every now and again spent a few in-game, in that world, years with him. And Austin, along with Raftali and Philo. But they only spent a few. But soon after, they met up in real life. And he told Nafumi that he and Raftalia had finally started dating. And Kirito said, "About time, man." And, well, that's the story of an SAO player turned hero after being framed. Well, I'm afraid that's all the time I got for today's video. Until next time, subscribe to join the Spikers Army, or Demasalanas. Goodbye and peace out, everyone.